I have a quick energy update and a quick reminder. So today is November 11th, and I wanted to let everybody know that as of Friday night, the 8th, I guess it was, the collective test was passed. There was an opportunity or a timeline expression that was possible where we could have, as a collective, spun and spiraled back into madness like we did in 2020. Or we could choose truth, and the collective chose truth. So that is absolutely amazing news. It certainly wasn't going to take another 4 years to dissolve the madness expression of the timeline, but it would have been a little messier than it is now. Now, that's not to say that at the human 3D physical level there isn't work to do. It just means that sort of the energies that run the timeline are now chosen to be truth. Like we voted, the truth is now going to be what is sort of pushed through the timeline rather than madness. But that doesn't mean that some of the human beings don't still have their own inner thought processes and things that they're going to need to process and move through. What this also actually means is there is a huge amount of people that are in the very, very infant stages of their awakening. So that's great. 2025 will be the energy of forgiveness. It is not the year of I told you so, but the year of finally we are all on the same page. We are all seeing each other clearly without veils of lies holding us back, and that we are now able to embark together as a humanity on the thing that we all always wanted in the first place. So this is all good. So what I wanted to remind you is resentment is yours to manage. Boundaries are about love, keeping it in, not keeping people out. And reciprocity is a fifth dimensional foundational pillar. So I'm going to just review those three things really quickly in case you didn't watch the individual videos from last year or the year before even. Boundaries are never about keeping anything or anyone out. You are supposed to be open and available and expressive without boundaries, barriers, or brick walls at all times. What boundaries really are for is to keep your own self-love and your own frequency. I don't even want to use the word protected, but to keep your own love in. So where you would perhaps enforce your boundary would be if you were with someone that is asking you to do something that would be out of character for you, or they're treating you in a way that is not loving or honoring or compassionate. And we don't use our boundaries to pick a fight or push that person away. We use our boundaries, enforce our boundaries by saying, I don't speak to myself that way, and therefore I won't take that from you. Or I don't treat myself that way, therefore I don't accept that treatment from you. And then the situation's managed in a myriad of different ways. So just remember that as the greater collective goes through their awakening, and as we move through this cleanup phase at a physical level, moving through 2025, which actually starts November 18th, your boundaries are still going to be needed, because there are a lot of people that are projecting, that are going through their dark nights of the soul, that are going through the sheddings of the ego, all of the processes that many of us have already gone through and have come into our own level of mastery. They still yet to do that. And it doesn't make them a them versus us. It doesn't make them bad. It doesn't make them less. It just means that their timing was different than our timing. And we are not to lose our mastery. Don't lose the footing of our mastery in the sort of collective goo that we might be walking through for the next little while. So keep in mind that your boundaries are about you and that it's likely going to be tested, and it's fine. Resentment. Resentment is energetic debt. Resentment is that when you have given to someone what you didn't have to give, now you're in debt with yourself. Or if you give to someone and they don't offer you any form of reciprocity in any way, shape, or form, then there's resentment. Pardon me. Your thoughts, stories, and beliefs and what you tell yourself about another person that you have been in an exchange with, that is up to you. It is up to you to manage your own resentment. It is up to you to manage the thoughts and beliefs that you walk around with in your head about another person. That becomes a very slippery slope into judgment, and we don't want to do that. You want to try to maintain and operate yourself in a way that allows you to keep your thoughts and beliefs of any other person as pure and clean as possible. So, kind of the same thing as boundaries. Resentment is like you have to really check in with you. If someone needs your support or needs you to do something or wants to talk about their awakening or verbally process what it is they're going through, it's up to you to check in with yourself. Do I have this to give today? And then the next step is, if I give it to this person and they don't meet me with any kind of reciprocity, whatever that might look like, I'm not even going to label what that could be, then how am I going to feel about them after the fact? And sometimes you're going to go through this process a few times before you really start to clue in that this one person has a particular behavior, that the reciprocity piece is just not clicking, and then you still have a decision to make. Ideally, we want to try and keep this cleanup phase as clean as possible through the ones that hold the mastery in their own footing. So, boundaries, resentment is yours to manage. Your thoughts and beliefs and ideas about other people that you exchange with, that's up to you to manage that. And then reciprocity. Reciprocity it's a bit of a higher level teaching, but there is no time like the present to start seeding that this is the way we do things now. It is a fifth dimensional foundational pillar. We, as fifth dimensional beings, are self-sourcing. We source for ourselves. We come up with our own answers through our own intuitive nature. We source through source, God source ourselves. We heal ourselves. And if and when we are not able to self-source and we source through the source of another source, then we are engaging in something that is an energy exchange that requires reciprocity. We don't take or suck off of, or it's sort of almost like it could be called like vampiric energy. We don't do that with one another. There is no codependency, no trauma bonding, no taking from another person. So reciprocity is really important. And it's something that, again, if you don't hold the reciprocity piece, then you could easily fall into resentment. And then if you're in resentment, you're being shown that maybe your boundaries, you're not honoring yourself as much as you need to be or should be. So the whole thing, those sort of three things are and can be a bit of a slippery slope. It is a part of our mastery walk. It is going to be tested, and that's fine. And it's something that we're always sort of building on. You know, I still catch myself. I'll do for others or for my children or whatever, and then I fall into a unconscious pattern again where I'm the one that's always doing and giving, and then I have to stop myself when I'm aware that now I'm having a dialogue in my head about this person and how ticked off I am. And I have to go, wow, Sheila, that's on you. That's not about them. That's my self-awareness. That's where I've been giving. That's where my boundaries got too loose. I allowed resentment to sneak into the relationship, and that I didn't sort of command that there is some form of reciprocity. So great news that the collective are still on a trajectory upward despite how it looks here in the physical. 2025 is the year of forgiveness, not the year of I told you so. And keep in mind that your boundaries, your resentment, and reciprocity are sort of three interlinked things that are something that are going to be on the table and can be quite loud for those of us that are further ahead on the path. So that's your mastery. So I hope that helps you, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.